After all our overnight flights, the first day's long journey brought a chance to relax, although we had to wake up to do some shopping en route. This was because our home for the next 2 nights would be in the remote Songubala camp in the Drakensberg mountains, which had beautiful scenery, but no shops or restaurant, and only solar-powered electricity. Soon Sydney, our leader, explained the plans.
It's a very, very good walk, but at some point it could go a little bit steep, and then he advised you, if you don't want to continue, that you can stay there. When you come back, you want to pick you up on the way. 7:30, breakfast. So to leave at 8:15.
Next morning, at 7:30 as instructed, we found a delicious breakfast had been prepared for us. Then we were ready to set off on our walk with local guide Gregory.
Yeah, you see there's 3 ravines. 1, 2, 3, yes. You go down at the bottom of it.
Good thing we waited. Yes.
It's been buried here.
We found we were not the only holidaymakers enjoying the area. We still have a long way to go, ever upwards from now on. But eventually we can rest to admire the view and to look at one of the many examples in the area of Drakensberg Bushman rock art. For hundreds of years, the San people have been illustrating their lives by painting on the porous cave sandstone, and here we are privileged to see a small sample of their work. On our way down, we see several of these enormous, colourful grasshoppers. But eventually, we arrive at the rather splendid hostel, which is our nearest neighbour, where we can enjoy a welcome drink. In the afternoon, we had a more gentle walk.
You have Hlolela, Sugarloaf, and Keminsem, Golden Hill, and Connable Cave.
And we ended up at this surprising carving, known as the Silent Woman. Next morning, when we woke up, we had a totally different view of the area. But fortunately, it was to be a day of travelling and of shopping for supplies for an alfresco lunch. Afterwards, Sydney told us about the famous Zulu battle that took place on this site.
There were about 2,000 men, British men, or English men, and Irish and Scottish. So they came here to camp here. It used to be kind of a trading store. All right.
Then we moved on to another battlefield.
This was the main camp here and that side. We're gonna walk there after we talk about it. And then when Lord Chelmsford come here, and then he instructed Pauline.
Eventually, we arrived at our destination, where there were some intriguing notices to be seen. But early in the morning, we were off on our first game drive. And by now, our joint leader Nico had joined us, and in no time, we encountered our first animals.
African buffalo. If you look at these horns, it's like this.
Yeah.
And
what's the difference? Are they the same or are they similar?
No, their horns differ. No, a female's head is like this, and the male's head is basically a ball.
Maybe be careful. Yeah, he looks like he might.
Can you see him, Nico?
He's got it.
Question: is the zebra black with white stripes or white with black stripes?
Sorry, it was coming out there. It's like it moved back to this.
That's very funny.
Young baby.
What's the speck on its head?
You've got a lot of photos.
At the bottom,
Yeah.
it's a square.
Yeah.
The other name for it is a square lip rhino. So, the white rhino, its lip is like this. So actually it's white rhino. Because of this. The other thing about the white rhino, that's a grazer. Yeah.
How is this baby one?
Oh yeah, little one.
No, it's normal water.
Normal one.
No.
On our return, we set off again, this time to see the local hippos in their river home.
They tiptoe, walk along the bottom of the estuary bed. They need air, they're going to push themselves up, take a breath, and then go back down, continue walk. He's going to go and mark his territory. And what he'll do is he'll put his backside into the reeds, he'll start defecating, and spraying this dung all over the place using that paddle-like tail. And when he does that, keep an eye on him, he's going to yawn again. Half a yawn. Approximately now between 10 to 12 months old. The youngsters staying with their mothers for protection until they're 3 years old. And
What does it mean when they yawn then?
okay, there's 3 types of yawns. Okay, that yawn that
Wow, that was a big one.
there's a dot as elephant ivory, but in fact enamel, just like our teeth. Therefore also used, believe it or not, to make false.
Too slow.
Then they were also hunted for the skin, because the skin is between 2 to 3 centimeters thick. It's a very strong, very tough leather.
At the end of the long day, we enjoyed a delicious group meal.
Cara doesn't have one on either.
Next morning brought a more leisurely start and a different game drive.
My name is Sakile. Let's take a short drive from here all the way to the gate. We entered inside the park. He's going to be a little bit briefing about the history of the park. And what we call the bar churls or plain zebra. The type is got all the way down to the legs, black and white stripes. Like this month, lot of males Kulu, they've been fighting. So Nyala is only stripes and spot. The bushbuck, because the smaller one, it's only spots.
How did you see that?
You lie down again. It's not interesting. That shows the life. If you fashion the immediate life.
I think that must have been a really big male we saw in the tree yesterday.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he was
Bigger than these.
This is a baby one.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Let's start here.
9 months.
Can I ask
9 months, yes. And they get hatched in December time.
Can I take a nice...
They can grow up to 30 centimeter.
30.
Yeah, like a
that's
size
quite
of a
big.
ruler. Yeah.
Okay.
Those can use the tail for balancing.
yeah.
As in South Africa, we do have 11 official languages. So at the bottom here, there's 2 of the languages spoken in South Africa. So most of the time, for the warning sign or for the notice, they used to use 3 languages. So it used to be English and Afrikaans and the local language.
At lunchtime, we arrived at Cap Vidal Beach, where we had the chance to relax or to swim. meantime, our meal was being prepared. Our first experience of the famous South African braai. And of course the opportunistic Berbick monkeys were on hand for any leftovers.
It's a wide mouth rhino.
Well, because the other one's more common.
More common. And then they start to call it, because it sounds like white.
Yes.
White mouth rhino, and they end up turning to white rhino.
The rhinos on this reserve have had their horns removed in order to deter poachers.
They've got a grey colour scheme. It's only because of the mud here.
Sakili was with us again for a nighttime safari.
How big is it? Oh, it's tiny. There you go.
Camouflage. Lion, it's a king of camouflage. King of camouflage, that's why chameleon. And so these species of chameleon, the female, she will lay the eggs on March. The eggs of them, they took about 9 months in the ground. Like the one we saw earlier was born in December.
Right, what's this guy?
A duiker, grey duiker.
What
a young female, they've been reintroduced here with a cut-off horn. So in this area we had 7 rhinos, of which they were killed. Since from 2015, November 2015.
Wow.
Yes, best coffee there.
That's fantastic.
So bad because these animals now, they start to chew those plastic.
We were lucky to find this hyena family very close to the roadside.
Look at that sound.
Is he calling them?
It's very low. I think he's calling other one. Like let them know that we go in this direction. So this one's a baby young now.
Oh, there she is.
But it's an older one, this one. On that side, it's like he's laughing a bit, but not really.
He's not spotted.
Here we go.
Oh, look at the crisps.
You see that one? Yeah, it's got a scars on the face.
Next morning, we were off to a new country, Swaziland. Our lunch stop was at a Swazi craft centre, where there was plenty of choice of artwork to admire and to buy. And finally, we arrive at our new home, in beehive huts.
Let's play.
A local guide shows the way to our candlelit dining room, where we celebrated Andy's birthday. We enjoyed our breakfast in better lighting and found that our camp was also home to many animals, such as nyalas and warthogs, which were quite happy to share the space with us. But getting too near the crocodiles or hippos would probably not have been very sensible. Nico and Sydney now took us on a walking safari.
But a very small and a very young one.
Yeah, you can sort of see the beginning, can't you?
We can estimate this one around about 400-500 years. It's one of the prehistoric trees in the world. They're close to my valley, and there's one they estimated 5,000 years.
So they started to collect animals from all over and bring them here. And then it was promised that no animal would be killed. until the day that a rhino, the last rhino, was poached here. He was so angry. He went to the king. He wanted to take that rhino and drop it to the king's doorstep.
Unique. Each and every pair of bee eater knows exactly which is his nest. So you don't get Sarah visiting John at night.
Tame, see, but it's been tried. No.
The waterbuck is one of the animals who sneaked in the first on the ark while the ark wasn't ready yet. So they went and hid on the toilet. Hence the reason for the ring.
Here we saw both South Africa's national animal, the springbok, as well as the national bird, the blue crane, even if they had chosen to remain in a fenced-off area. Evening time brought a campfire, which was much enjoyed by the resident warthog family, and a concert was given by the talented camp staff.
When I was born again, it was a great day. When I was born again, yes, it was a great day. When I was born again. Meliwam, awkulumi kalala. Meliwam, awkulumi kalala. Meliwam, awkulumi kalala.
Next day we had to leave again, and our first stop was a glass-making factory in which members of the local community had been taught to create beautiful items from ordinary recycled glass. In a while we reached the border and further passport stamping. And then we had lunch looking over the Crocodile River. And at last we entered the southern section of the Kruger National Park by passing through the Malalene Gate.
Not literally.
Excellent. That's it.
Yeah, thank you. Let me see it.
Check the elephant eyes. You've got tails with you.
Everybody happy?
Yep.
35, okay?
We were excited to have our first sighting of a lioness in the wild.
You know you get an agrified as well, man.
Yes.
At break time, the vervet monkeys were around again. Then we were back to scanning the extensive terrain for animals, and we were soon rewarded when a parade of 17 elephants, including several youngsters, crossed our path.
No, come closer.
Gosh, that's brilliant.
This evening we were again in Rondeval huts, and this time it was us who were fenced in, while local life continued unconcerned outside the barrier.
Potatoes.
Nico and Sydney had prepared another amazing braai for our torchlight evening meal.
Here is some feta cheese for those who wants to have with their mixed salad. Some feta cheese. On the two braaiers, there is some steak. Chow down.
Wow. Thank you.
And tonight was also Nico's birthday.
Birthday, dear Nico. Happy birthday to you.
Everyone was up bright and early next day, ready for another drive.
Looking at us.
Good spot, Sydney.
When we stopped for a photo shoot, we were even more aware of the enormous size of the Kruger National Park, of which we were only seeing such a small corner. This lunch stop brought a different scavenger to our tables.
The bugs great. Let me just turn a little bit.
This is like the closest we've got, isn't it?
Yeah. Put the breast under the front leg.
It was a change to see a rhinoceros, as it was the elephants which appear to be everywhere these days. But finally we left the park by the Verbena gate and continued to our final stop at Grasskop.
The pair of you have been fantastic, and we'd all like to thank you very much. This is for your boat, and Sharon, thank you very much. You've cooked up a storm, you've put up with us, you've stayed awake, and you've been completely brilliant.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So thank you very much for your boat.
The morning allowed a short look at life in the small town. Then we were off, firstly trying to take pictures of a cloud-filled canyon. The waterfalls proved easier to photograph. As did the spectacular potholes of Brooks Luck. We were joined by some very excited fellow tourists at our next stop.
Where you can basically look on the Plata River Dam, which is providing water for 90% of this area.
Then there was a final chance to buy souvenirs before saying fond farewells as our ways parted at Johannesburg Airport.